John Leguizamo, congratulations on your Emmy nomination for Waco. Take us back to the morning of the nominations announcement. What was your reaction?
I couldn't believe it because I had downloaded the information and I didn't see my name, and I was like, oh, too bad that Waco didn't get any love. And I was tweeting stuff about how, oh, too bad we got robbed. And all of a sudden my publicist goes, John, congratulations. I go, what are you talking about? I said, you got a nomination. I go, you got it wrong. I didn't get nominated. She goes, no, here's the link. And I was like, no way. Oh, but I had thought I didn't get one. And I was like so used to it that when I got it, I was so shocked.
It was a really lovely surprise. Anyone who's seen the show knows it was a very strong cast of excellent actors and great production crew. Unfortunately, yeah, you got 3 nominations across the board, but you're the only one nominated on Emmy night. How does that feel to represent the entire production?
I felt a little guilty. I gotta say, a little survivor's guilt. I was like, oh, those poor other guys. I guess I won't be emailing them today about my win, you know, because they may not be as happy for me this time. No, I'm kidding. I'm sure that they're happy. There's no, it's all good if somebody wins. You know what I mean? If somebody gets nominated. But it was an incredible show that I was very proud of. You know, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really well written and really well directed and acted. I mean, I was enjoying everybody's performance so much.
You know, what I loved about Waco is that we all know about what happened. Like, we've all kind of remember it on TV.
Right.
But it really does try to change or at least alter your preconceived ideas of what that story was about. How did it do that for you?
Well, I don't, as my parakeets, they're from Australia.
Oh, that's fitting.
I wanted you to feel at home.
Thank you. I feel so much better.
You know, I think what's incredible about Waco, the miniseries, was we all had our ideas about how it went down, but we didn't know the details. I don't think any of us knew the details of what the Davidians were, the Branch Davidians, what they were doing. I mean, we all thought, you know, cult, and we had our ideas about it. And we didn't understand, you know, how he was trying to bring positive things into people's lives. At the same time, there was a lot of corruption within the cult, you know, as cults become corrupt because absolute power absolutely corrupts. And then we didn't know the side of the FBI and the ATF, the problems that they were having and experiencing. So that was, I mean, with all that detail, you really get into the head of both sides. And you see what a horrible tragedy it was on all sides.
Yeah, absolutely. So what made you take the role? How were you approached? Did you audition? And then when you got the role, like what made you want to actually do it?
Well, what made me really, I mean, they approached me, the directors and the writer, Sal Stabile and John and the Dowdell brothers, sent me the first 3 episodes that I was in. And I read it, and I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with the role. I fell in love with the detail of research they had done, and how they really want to present all sides evenly. I thought that was really powerful. So I was really excited to take it on, especially when I started doing research on my character. That's not my real character's name, because you've seen the show, so you know this guy, and this is a real person. Was fired, but then he sued. And he won. So he's not allowed to comment or talk about the roles. That's why we had to change the name. But I had ample time to go online and search him out and see him talk and see him offer his take on what happened.
Yeah, so I mean, your character's name on the show is Jake Vasquez. Obviously, that's not the real guy's name. He's an undercover ATF agent who kind of moves next door, and he infiltrates the cult on behalf of the authorities, but then actually starts to feel empathy towards what the Branch Davidians were doing. It's a really, I think your character, and this is my theory, I think the reason why people have taken to your character and your performance is it's our way in. It's our way into how, and to both sides of the argument, as you said earlier. So is that how you were approaching the guy?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was trying to go in there sort of like not so prejudiced, you know, like to try to go in there. How can I go in there as the audience's point of view just be innocent about it. Just don't come in with preconceived ideas that a cult is bad, or that just because I'm a law officer that I come in with all these preconceived ideas. So I wanted to be open, you know, and have the fear that maybe they could turn on me because they were selling weapons. So I was trying to juggle a lot of different things, you know, trying to be open, but also keep the possibility that I could get killed at any minute as well. And go in there with that mindset, but then have my head flipped and turned to like, wow, they're actually trying to bring some positivity into people's lives, because I didn't know the other stuff that was going on.
Yeah. So this question is not only about
underage girls and taking everybody's sexual obligations onto himself.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. You know, this question goes for not only Waco but your other work. Is there a particular challenge or pressure when you're playing a real person, a contemporary real person who's still alive?
Oh, there's always a lot more pressure. You feel like you have to do more research and you have to get it right, but you also have to pay tribute. You have to respect yourself too. I don't want to just be doing an impersonation. You know, that there's no fun in that for me. You know, I like to find some sort of a happy halfway point between the real person and myself. So I'm not just doing a representation of somebody, which is what I'm doing now in Central Park 5. I'm playing a real dad of one of the kids who was Latino, and I've met him. I've gone to dinner with him. I've watched all his tapes, and so I try to find a happy medium path where I'm like him, but I'm also like myself.
Yeah. When you're playing roles like what you just mentioned, Central Park 5 and Waco, and other roles that you've done, when you look over your really long list of credits, and they're really heavy and difficult to do, are you one of those actors that brings that home with you, or are you one of those actors that leaves it on set and just and doesn't think about it?
I mean, there's no way you can totally leave it on set, because you're digging into deep things inside yourself to connect with the character. So you're looking at similar pain, you know, similar, like when I'm doing the Central Park 5 dad, I'm like, I'm taking it in, and it weighs on me and it wears me out, and I feel very lethargic because I'm taking on this man's troubles. The same thing when I was doing the Waco thing and playing Jacob. I was like trying to be sort of open, but, you know, keeping the danger with me. So I always had that danger with me, you know, that I could be killed at any moment. And you carry that around, and there's no way you can't just drop it off. You try to live your life, but, you know, it stays with you if you're aware and you're going that deep.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You know, what I love the most about Waco is that not only is it a very interesting story about a historical event that happened years ago, but I also think that it says a lot about today and a lot about our perceptions about what happens in the world by what we are fed in the media. And there's a particular quote that one of the characters says where he says, "We are all of us Americans. When did we start seeing each other as the enemy?" It really resonated with me. And I'm wondering how that kind of thematic stuff in the show, how did it resonate with you, and what do you think it's saying about today's America?
I mean, what's pretty wild is, like, we've been struggling with all these issues for a very, very long time. And I think it's all because of the original sin of how this country was founded on such violence and genocide. You know, a land was taken from a people. So, you know, we've been dealing with this forever, and we turn into these little small microcosms of what happened, and we start living it out with the shootings and all this, you know, division, and then you see it happen there. I mean, it's interesting because the Davidians were very multiculturally diverse. There were a lot of Latin and Black people in the Davidian branch, and some of the ones that remain are mostly people of color. So it's interesting, and all the ATF guys were all Latin guys. So it's very interesting how, you know, even though as a person of color, I'm on the law side, you start taking on, you know, sort of the law's sort of point of view of things. And I think that's what happened to the ATF a little bit, and the FBI in that point of view. They were trying to prove a point, and it got ugly there.
Yeah. You know, I was looking at your awards history, because obviously that's what Gold Derby does. And you haven't been at the Emmys for a very long time. You won in 1998 for Freak.
Yeah.
And I remember that actually. I forgot about it, and then I remembered it when I saw it on your list. You've won awards for your stage work, and you've been nominated at the Golden Globes, but it's been a while since you've been at the Emmys. Can you remember that night in 1998? It's like 20 years ago.
20 years ago, yeah. Dude, it was crazy. I mean, I didn't expect to win. I mean, I can remember when I heard them call my name, I didn't believe it. And my brother jabbed me. But all of a sudden, when I understood it, like the blood started pulsing into my head and I couldn't hear. I was like deaf for a minute. All I could hear was like the heart beating. And then I remember my brother hugging me too long, and I'm going, "Oh my God, I only got 5 seconds to do a speech. Get off me!" And go, and you know, it was just like you get so like in an intuitive thing. You're like, you know, I got to get the speech out there. I got to say something. It's wild.
Yeah, it is. And if I may, there's when I think about John Leguizamo, I think about your really edgy stage work, and I also think about your collaborations with Baz Luhrmann. Obviously, as an Aussie, I think I have to ask this. What was your highlight of working with him on Romeo and Juliet, and for me particularly on Moulin Rouge? What was a highlight on working with him and working in Australia on that production?
Well, I mean, working with Baz Luhrmann was one of the highlights of my life because you learn so much from him. He's so generous. He's so collaborative, and he makes you feel like you're a part of it, like you're contributing something valuable. And I'll never forget that. And I always wanted to sort of replicate that whenever I'm producing or the leader of something. I want to be like Baz Luhrmann. What I always say to myself in my head: how do I make everybody feel like they're the most important person on the set? It's such a great feeling that he gives you. And Moulin Rouge was just such a masterpiece, you know, and it was such a big, epic piece that he was putting together, and his attention to detail is so incredible, man. I've never seen that in any artist before.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what we all love about his work, and that was a while ago too, right? So, any chance you might work with him again?
Absolutely. I mean, I whatever he's doing. I mean, I know he's doing Moulin Rouge coming to Broadway soon, so I can't sing, so I'm not going to be in it. But maybe something else.
Oh, that's a shame. But yeah, maybe we will see you on one of his other productions. But John, mate, thank you so much for your time. We really are very happy to see you at the Emmys. It's been a long time, and it was a really lovely surprise to see you nominated for Waco.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, you want to see the parakeet that's over there? You see the bird? You don't think I don't have a tape? The birds are right here. See
this weird tape of a bird. Wow, nice.
A little Australia here in New York City. Whoa.